Thank you for joining us on the news at noon. I'm Allison Seymour. After months of campaigning, Election Day is finally here. In Virginia, polls have been open for 6 hours now. They'll stay open until 7 p.m. In West Virginia, polls close at 7:30. In Maryland and the district, polls are open from now until 8 p.m. And remember, if you are in line when polls close, you will still be able to vote. We start with some breaking news, though. We are starting to hear from some voting locations that are experiencing some voting issues on this election day. Our Jess Arnold is live from one of those locations. And Jess, what are voters saying that they're experiencing?
Yeah, well, we're at Andrew Jackson Academy in Prince George's County, Maryland, and you can see behind me just how long this line is outside of this polling location. People who have left within the last 30 minutes said that they waited about 1 to 2 hours. But the reason we came out here was because we had multiple voters reach out to us and say that they were experiencing some problems. I talked to a poll worker inside here as well as with the Prince George's County Board of Elections to clear some things up. They said they did have some issues earlier this morning, 3 big ones that I want to go over. One had to do with those electronic voting machines. They have 3 of them that are inside. We have some footage inside showing you that voting going on. One of those 3 was broken. At last check in the last 20 minutes, it still hadn't been fixed, but they thought it would be fixed relatively soon. Now, when they started the day, the other issue I want to talk about is with the paper ballots. They said they had only received the second page of the paper ballots and had to wait until 8:45 in the morning to get page 1, which meant that nobody could vote using those paper ballots for almost the first 2 hours that this polling location was open. And another reason that this poll worker said this line could be so long is because people are voting here when it's not their precinct. So they're voting provisional ballots. She said that that stack of provisional ballots is continuing to increase. We talked to a voter who said he did come here when it's not in his precinct, so she believed that that is also why this line might be so long. But we did check in with the Prince George's County Board of Elections, and they said that things seem to be running more smoothly now. I can confirm that the last couple of people we spoke with said that their experience was overall fine coming in here and expected to have to wait a little bit. We did talk to one woman who unfortunately said she had to get out of line without voting because she had to go to work and she had been waiting 2 hours and was experiencing some of those lingering effects of those issues throughout the morning. But again, they're working on getting that last electronic voting machine fixed. And right now, yes, it's a line. Expect to wait 1 to 2 hours, but it does seem like things are running much more smoothly. Guys.
That's a little bit of good news. Jess Arnold, thank you so much. Meantime, polls elsewhere in Maryland have been open for 5 hours now. We've got the video this morning showing Maryland Senate candidates Larry Hogan and Angela Also Brooks casting their ballots this morning. The race could help decide who controls the U.S. Senate. We're also following one of the most competitive congressional races in Maryland. Who will voters elect in District 6? Randy Ayala has been at Orchard Grove Elementary School in Frederick all morning long talking with voters. And Randy, how's it looking now?
Yeah, hey, good afternoon to you, Allison. 10 minutes ago, election officials here gave me an update. So far here, almost 900 ballots have been cast. You know, I saw a line much of the morning. Right now, no line to get in to vote. So things are moving pretty quickly here. Voters I talked to, though, say they feel this is going to be one of the most important elections that they see in their lifetime. Before the doors opened at 7 a.m., there were already nearly 60 people waiting in line to cast their ballot.
Everybody needs to vote this election. Don't stay home and say, well, I'm just one vote. Well, how many people are going to say I'm just one vote?
Parents here with their children showing them the importance of voting.
That's how kids learn best, is by watching their parents, and I think that was very important for her, especially this election. Given that she could see the first female president.
And 5-year-old Reagan says it was a cool experience for her.
It was really fun and really exciting.
Beth Jones has worked for Frederick County Public Schools for nearly 30 years. Her daughter is a teacher. One race she's paying close attention to: who is elected to the school board.
You know, our staff is doing a lot of work and they do not get paid.
The race between Democrat April Delaney and Republican Neil Parrott for Congressman David Trone's District 6 seat is another key race on the ballot here in Frederick, along with question 1, which asks voters if the state should protect abortion rights.
I have a daughter, to be blunt, and to, take opportunities and rights away from her is just not going to set well with me. So as a father, I have to do what's right to protect her.
This is a huge election. This means a lot as a woman, as a black woman. Actually, I did take a moment when I opened my ballot and just was kind of honored that I'm able to be a part of making history.
All right, just keep in mind, polls close at 8 o'clock tonight. If you are in line by 8, you will be able to vote. Mail-in ballots have to be postmarked by today. That's the latest here in Frederick. Allison, I'll send it back to you.
All right, Randy, sounds good. Thank you so much. Another tight race we're following closely is out of Virginia. That's where Republican Senate candidate Hung Cao is facing off against his Democratic opponent, Tim Kaine, in another tight Senate race. Our Jacqueline Quinn is in Loudoun County now with the latest on this race. Good afternoon, Jackie.
Yeah, we just stepped outside of the polling location, which is actually located in the senior living facility. But yes, Republican Senate candidate Hung Cao took his mother to cast her vote. It happened just about 20 minutes ago, and we were there. He cast his vote early, though. That was last week. But let's get to that video of him just pushing his mother through. And it was quite a moment for him, but he was assisting her, trying to translate potentially some of the questions there. And he talked to us about what this moment was like for him and his family after he came here as a refugee after the war in Vietnam.
This is the American dream coming full circle, right? We came here almost 50 years ago. So next year is the 50th anniversary of the fall of Saigon, and my mom got to vote for me, and I would be potentially the first Vietnamese American U.S. Senator in history. And for her to be able to cast her vote for me is pretty surreal.
Now, he is challenging Democratic Senator Tim Kaine, who is seeking a third term. Now, Senator Kaine is at a watch party in Richmond today. Our Simone D'Alba is out there, and we'll have later tonight. She'll have more for us later tonight. Now, we are still also working to check throughout the county if there are any issues. We have so far not heard of any reports of issues, but we're continuing to look. The DOJ says Loudoun County is one of those counties. The Department of Justice is going to be monitoring during this November 5th election. The DOJ routinely monitors voting, but the scale this time is larger than in years past. And on the county dashboard, I was checking so far for the early mail-in votes, 23,200 ballots have been counted, 11,000 still outstanding at this time, and that is for mail-in voting. The turnout so far for early and mail-in voting is standing at 37% today. So we'll continue to check back and get the latest data. For now, we'll send it back to you guys.
That trucker wanted his voice to be heard as well. It's the day to do that, right? All right, Jackie, thanks so much. In the district, polls have been open for over 5 hours now. A long line formed at the Eastern Market well before voting even started at 7 this morning. D.C. residents can vote at any of the city's 75 voting centers, regardless of where you live, from now until 8 p.m. You just have to be in line by the time the polls close where you are. And we spoke to one voter about how he is feeling this election day.
It's nerve-wracking. We'll see what happens today. I think it's going to be a long couple days. Like I said, I think character matters, which is how I voted personally, but, we'll see what happens.
Besides the presidential race, voters in the district are weighing in on races for D.C. delegate, 3 D.C. council seats, and Initiative 83. It's a question about ranked choice voting. If you're not registered to vote, you can still do that at any voting center. Just bring your proof of residence with you when you go to register. Well, Vice President Kamala Harris will be watching the election results, I should say, here in D.C. at her alma mater, Howard University. Right now, street closures and parking restrictions are already in place around campus. The massive security perimeter is just one of the precautions that public safety officials say will be in place at least through tomorrow night. Now, in-person classes, they're canceled this week. Instead, they'll all be virtual for students there at Howard. And students that we spoke with say having the potential first Black and South Asian woman president walk the same hallways that they do speaks volumes.
Like an inspiration to do better, and be my absolute best, because Howard really does give us the opportunity to do that. And so knowing that Kamala has made it this far, like Ava said, it allows me to know that I can make it even farther.
WUSA 9 has you covered when it comes to election night tonight. Join us on WUSA 9 Plus at 8 p.m. For a live election special. Our team will be spread out across the region covering the races that impact you. Then Get Up DC will be on air early tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. You can watch us on air or on our streaming service, WUSA 9 Plus, streaming until 7 a.m. Then we're going to stay on WUSA 9 Plus for more election updates from 7 to 9, and then we'll be back on TV and online for Get Up DC at 9 a.m.